Hey YouTube, thanks for clicking on another episode of VGAPR Garage. Today we're going to be working on a 2012, I think, Toyota Prius, or Prius, depending on which country you're doing this. Today we're going to be replacing the rear rotors and pads. Those are pretty bad. The only jack point on the rear of the Toyota Focus is the jack, the tire jack point on the vehicle. That's the only spot I could find underneath. Let's go ahead and jack this vehicle up. Now we're gonna go ahead and take off the wheel lug nuts with this awesome I think it's a 3/8 or 3/4 Focus. Focus on this. Okay, well, just trust me. It's probably using the 3/16 side of it because it's pretty cool. It's double-sided. It's by Tecton. I'll put a description in the link. I'll put a link in the description where to find it. So let's go ahead and take these off. So first things first, we're going to start by removing these two caliper pushpin bolts. This kind of caliper, you actually don't compress first because it's a screw driven with the emergency brake. Let's go ahead and take those two bolts off. They are. So now you'll be able to peel the caliper back. Luckily, because the emergency brake is on the bottom, you don't have to hang this by any way. Where'd my flathead go? Right here. Because the emergency brake actually does all the holding of the caliper, which is pretty cool. So I'm just taking out the old hardware. Now for the caliper bracket bolts, they are also 14s, but because of where they're located, I cannot get a electric tool back there, so we're just going to use a breaker bar. Hopefully remember which direction to go. There we go, there's one. Check your guide pins also, make sure they're loose. This one is stuck. I had the same problem on the other side, and I'll maybe show you guys how to deal with that. It wasn't very fun. So actually, I'm going to leave it in, and I'm going to show you how I dealt with it, because it needs to be on anyway. So what I did is I took a 17 millimeter, because that's what that is, and I'm just going to put it on in reverse. I mean, you could use a breaker bar as well to do this. Move this one guide pin out of the way and use it to hold the caliper up and out of the way. There we go. And hopefully you can see, I'm hoping that it's recording that. Yeah, you can. It's actually beginning to turn, so I'll put it on forward, which actually has a hard. Leave it like that for now. I know that it's loose, so I can go ahead and deal with that. So now go back to your 14 to break these free. Up. There we go. There's one of them is loose now. See if we can get the caliper a little bit out of the way now, because I need the room. Oh, looks like I already got that one loose. So just gonna take a wrench now in the right direction too, and just go ahead and take it off. They are both also 14 millimeter. There. That falls off, and then luckily the rotors aren't stuck. Throw it aside. Now with the caliper out, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my trusty mallet, which is way over here, and go ahead and hit all this stuff out. There we go. It'll all come out. Oh, this is one of the indicator thing. Okay. So, throw it over there. Then take a flathead. Go ahead and remove this. The new set of pads and stuff already come with all this hardware. Now for this, I'm gonna go ahead and take this push pin out. I'm gonna clean it. I'm also gonna take the boot out, examine it, make sure it's not torn. The other one wasn't. So, there we go. Rag, don't wanna put in my parts bin all dirty. And now this one, simply take a hammer to it to loosen it up. Go ahead and grab your 17mm again on reverse. Put it on forward. What you're trying to do is basically just loosen it up. Out top. Okay guys, so now that I've got it loose, and where did I put my flathead? Right there. I'm gonna pull back the sleeve, the rubber sleeve, to keep all the grease in, so that I can get a flathead on the push pin and not on the rubber, because the rubber's still good. So I've got a little bit of space there, and then I'm just gonna take my mallet and hammer it. Alright, so as you saw, it came out. What I think what happens is this stupid thing right here gets a little bit of moist. It's a dampener to dampen how the pushpin moves in and out. It gets rust behind it and it expands, and then it makes it so grease gets stuck in the bottom. So that's what I think happens to these. This is the bolt that was on the bottom. As you can tell, it's pretty badly rusted. I will be cleaning it off and greasing it pretty well before it goes back in there, but I will not be putting this back in. So now it's time for my favorite part. Now that you've gotten all the rust out of where the pads are going to sit, don't forget to anti-seize. This will stop, not anti-seize, it is anti-seize, but it works the same way. It'll stop the rust from continuing and then making it so your pads get stuck, because when the rust essentially grows, it expands and makes it so the push pins, not the push pins, but the pads can't move as freely. So here are the hardware. These little lips right here, the best way to do it is to push it down like this. Don't try to put them back to front, put it front to back is what I found with these, and then they'll go right in. Otherwise, I noticed I had a hard time, and they kind of get moved over, but you can take it out, try to get the middle centered, and once that's in, just go ahead and push in the sides, and then you're good to go. And I literally didn't show that. I'm really sorry. I have another chance to show that, guys. Let's try it again. So here it is, taking the center, putting it in right there. And my hands are in the way, I'm really sorry. I wanted to show this to you the best way possible. The center's in, and then just push these in once the center's in. It's not the easiest. These are probably the toughest. There we go. The most weird hardware I've ever done. So there you go. There's that. So now the next part is, let's keep you guys where you can see you. I like to set it as if it's going to be in the car. So like it sits in the car like this. Now you're going to want to take your pads, which I got right here. This one's the inner. Imagine like it's in the car. You have to have this area on the inside of the disc. So put some anti-seize on the ends of your pads, and these are pretty cool. They stay right in. You just push down a little bit. Oops, see, a little too far. That's what happens when you know you've done a good job taking out the rust when the pads simply just slide. That's good if they slide like that. Just don't leave them out. So anyways, take your other pad, go ahead, put the anti-seize on it, and just simply push down on the hardware and simply slide it in. We also have to do it on the other side, not just one. So there we go. And now they're both in, and let's go ahead, take this and set it aside. So now it's the caliper's turn. Now, you can't push this in with a push pin or with a C-clamp or a screwdriver. That won't work. What you need is one of these cubes. They're pretty cool. So you use this side right here. They all are 3/8, and basically it'll fit right inside. And then I choose to take an impact. Maybe one of you will say, don't use an impact, you shouldn't use an impact. I've never heard you can't. So I'm going to. So go ahead and take your impact. You're going to want to put your impact on forward, or use your, you can use a regular gear wrench. It's perfectly fine. And hopefully you guys can see it. Going to be on forward. This one's real tight. And it's getting there. Let's and that's basically how you compress it. You may have to go back once you get your rotor and everything in to ensure that you've compressed it far enough once you put the new pads and everything in. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys out and pan you away. Look at that, panned you guys away. Isn't that neat? Hope you like it. Now, take some anti-seize, put around the hub. The rotor wasn't stuck on, but you never want to take that chance. Just go ahead and put some around, like so. And there we go. Now, you should have your new rotor handy. I do. And basically, take your new rotor and slap it on. There we go. Now, okay, so I cleaned off the push pin and greased it. And I'm just going to put it back in. I think in the future what I need to do is a video just on that. Okay, so now what we want to do is mount our caliper bracket with the pads on it. Go ahead and hand tighten those up, because I will be torquing them down to spec. I got some, are you still recording? Good, you are. I got some torque wrenches. So now it's time to do things to manufacturer specifications. Okay, so now push the pads in a bit. Now there's some hardware that goes on top, these little clips. I wonder if I should zoom you guys in. Let's zoom you guys in so you can get the best look possible. That's probably good. Just in the camera. You just take them, there's holes in the metal part of the pad, and you just put them in. That simple. Nothing too crazy. Nothing the backyard mechanic can't do on their own. Now, since they're rusty, let's gonna go ahead and take some anti-seize, put on the back of the, actually I need to zoom you guys back out again. There we go. Anti-seize on the back of the piston to the caliper, and on the front of it, basically bring it over, and there we go. Now grab your caliper bracket push pin bolts. Actually, wait a minute. Let's wait 1 second. What we want to do is take a torque wrench at 25 foot-pounds and tighten up those, oops, dropped my nut. My nut, that's funny because it actually was a socket. We want to tighten up to 25 foot-pounds the caliper bracket push pins, or the caliper bracket bolts. Let's go this way. That's by hand. Are you guys even recording? You guys are, good. Alright, so just, I'm going the wrong way. Had it the right way the first time. So 25 foot-pounds. There's the click, that one's done. Gonna go down to the bottom one. Gotta find it. It's down there somewhere. Didn't go anywhere. You put it in, it's gonna be there. Alright, there it is. And then should hear the click soon. 25 foot-pounds. There we go. So now take your caliper, put it on top. And even though they're 14 millimeter, let me show you. There is a difference. Focus. Focus. This is the caliper push pin bolt. The caliper bracket bolt is threaded all the way to the bottom. Don't get that mixed up. Alright, so let's go ahead and thread those in. Thread, 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 thread. Thread them in. Thread them in. Thread them in. Don't forget the bottom one. Don't forget either of them. It's very common. And then you'll be driving around and you go to put your foot on the brake and you'll hear a noise, then all of a sudden you'll notice you're not able to stop as well and your car is vibrating. I've actually gone to a shop